Scrabbles? Scrabbles, what are you doing? This is Scrabbles. Scrabbles is Chubby's adopted sister. We got her and Jack last summer so that Chubby can have siblings. Right, Scrabbles? Scrabbles, say hi. Scrabbles, say hi. Hey, Scrabbles, say hi. Hey, Scrabbles, say hi. There you go. So beautiful. You're such a beautiful cat, aren't you? So beautiful. Anyway, that's Scrabbles. She's a character. She definitely likes to play and jump. A little bit all over the place, but that's okay. She's one of a kind. Say bye now, Scrabbles. Bye. So that was Scrabbles. One of my 4 cats that I've had in the last 5 years. As you see, she's a very, very beautiful girl. She was pretty amazing. She was very much a character. Loves to come to my chest and knead me, when they do like this to you. Kiss me on my nose. Very beautiful cat. So like I said, she's one of my 4 cats. My first cat was actually named Chubby. Let me show you a picture of Chubby. He was a Fodex. If you've never heard of a Fodex, it's a rare combination between a Scottish Fold and exotic short hair. And if you never heard of the other two, it's also because they're pretty rare too. So Chubby was a rare cat. I think they bred this cat not more than 30 years ago or so. Beautiful cat. And to be honest with you, I didn't want Chubby in the beginning. I didn't want a cat in the beginning. In 2021, when we got Chubby, I was in a tough time. It was 1 year after COVID. COVID was still happening. I lost my social events business. Basically, I was a party host. I was throwing parties for young people to meet other young people. I didn't like how people were meeting each other in dating sites or social media. It wasn't very social, as we all know, and I was set on connecting people in IRL, in real life. So I was throwing parties at bars, at parks, at boats, at even at houses, and usually a lot of times it was free, and other times I just charged $10. But I would get like 100 people or 200 people coming in, and that's how I made my money. But long story short, I lost that business during COVID. And when I lost that business, I decided to open, of all things, a coffee shop. Who doesn't want to open a coffee shop, right? But as any businessman knows, coffee shop or not, it's very hard business. It's a business. It's basically a restaurant business, right? We had food besides coffee. So it was a tough time in my life because we had COVID, sales were not good, and my marriage was strained because of the stress. And I think partly because of that, my wife wanted to get a cat. But I was kind of against it, even though I love animals, because I just felt I wasn't ready. I just felt, I don't know, I just felt I wasn't there to give all my all to another being. So anyway, one day I come home. So I came home, right? And I see A playing with a cat.
in a room. So at first I didn't bother, but eventually I went to take a look and oh my God, I saw the cutest thing. Like the cutest thing in my life. And Chubby was very scared because it was a new home for him. He was, I think, 1 month old. But over the next few days, he bonded with us. And I bonded with him. We bonded with him, right? So he was an amazing cat. Um, Very playful, very loving, very kind. I don't know. Kind in a sense, like, how do you know a cat is kind? Well, over the years, he would meet other cats, including some stray cats that I'll talk about later in the future. And he would want to kiss those cats. He would want to go up to those cats, stranger cats, and lick them. Think about it. And of course, the opposite would happen with the other cat. They would try to attack Chubby, right? That's their instincts, right? So that's what I mean by Chubby was very kind. He wanted to be friends with every cat out there. So we had Chubby, and we had Chubby throughout 2021. He was the joy of our life. So despite the stress, despite the hardship of the business, the strains of the marriage, Chubby was our joy. We loved taking Chubby. We loved taking Chubby. We didn't do that often, but we took him to the park. We had a leash on him, and he was a little bit scared, but he enjoyed it eventually, and he would walk around. Didn't try to run away at all. He was more curious than anything, but so it was like a nervous excitement for Chubby, and we did that probably the summer of 2021. We first did that when we took him out. But he wasn't a true indoor outdoor cat. We lived in a condo at that time, third floor condo. So it wasn't like, oh, go out and come back. Whenever he went out, we would take him out. So he was pretty safe. Anyway, in 2020, yes, still 2021, in the summer, me and my wife were working, like I said, at the coffee shop, and we sometimes didn't come home for 10, 12 hours. So we felt bad for Chubby. He was alone. You know, he was a baby. He was alone. He was in the apartment. And we felt we want to get another cat for him to play with. And around that time, there was an acquaintance of my wife who said, oh, they see two cats, two baby cats all the time. Not all the time, but like, you know, a couple times a week at their backyard where they were renting the house. And they said that they look really hungry and they don't look that healthy, right? So they would feed them, I don't know, eggs, boiled eggs and whatnot. And they would eat it because they were hungry. So, I don't know, great opportunity, right? To adopt two stray cats, baby cats. But in reality, we only wanted one cat because we just felt three was too much. So we were like, okay, we'll take one of the cats, but let's bring both of them to meet Chubby and see which cat Chubby would like better or be friends with more. And so Jack is a male cat. I think they're brother and sisters, possibly twins. He was a little bit bigger than Scrabbles. He was a black cat. They look very different, but they came together, right? And they always came as themselves. We assume the mom, their mom, I don't know. We don't really know, to be honest with you, right? I'll be honest, but we thought maybe the mom disappeared or possibly died, but it was those two, right? So we got those two cats, and here's a video of them. Actually, this is probably the second or third day. The first day that we got Jack and Scrabbles, Chubby chased them a lot. Not because he was trying to hurt them, but because he was so excited. he was so excited about seeing two other cats his age, younger than him. He was like maybe 5 months old at that time, where Jack and Scrabbles was like at most 2 months old, right? So Chubby was like 3 months older. So, but he was so excited, and he would like play with them, chase them, and they were so scared of Chubby at first. The first night they were very scared, and Jack was very protective of Scrabbles, very protective. He would hiss at Chubby, a little thing would hiss at Chubby. But I think by the second or third day, they kind of started to bond, and in a few days, they were totally bonded. Let me show you a video of that. Yeah, this is the first few days after they met. That's Scrabbles. This is Jack. And this is Chubby, of course. And look at them. By the third day, they're like hugging and kissing each other. Just adorable. Um, so I don't know. You're probably wondering like, why did I name Chubby? I think my wife named Chubby. I think she always wants like a chubby cat. And Chubby, it wasn't that Chubby wasn't he wasn't skinny, but it wasn't like Chubby was fat. He wasn't. But I think she was just projecting him to be chubby, so she wanted to call him Chubby, and I thought it was a cute name, so that's fine. Jack and Scrabbles, I don't know. Scrabbles just looked like a Scrabbles. I mean, she just looked like a Scrabbles. Take a look at it again. Actually, there's a picture of Chubby and Scrabbles. See, Chubby got a little bit chubby here. And there's Scrabbles. Look at that beautiful girl. So, Scrabbles, it just in my mind, because the pictures that you see with Scrabble, she looked very healthy there, but the first day we got her, she was not healthy. Her hair was really all over the place. Not much hair, actually, kind of scrawny. Almost like she had a couple weeks left to live if she wasn't being fed, or less. Seriously, that's what I thought when I first saw Scrabbles. I thought she was gonna die in a few days or in a week. Jack was much more healthier. Like I said, he was bigger. Um, so I named her Scrabbles because I don't know, she was kind of like all over the place, not very calm, and so I call her Scrabbles. Jack, I don't know. Jack just seems like he's a Jack. Some people are Michael, some people are Jacks, some people are Peters, right? So I just call him a Jack. So that's how we got their names. And yeah, they bonded really quick. They bonded really well, all three of them. But here's a couple of videos of them bonding. Scrabbles. By the way, this was at our condo. I don't live in that condo anymore. We moved to a house in 2022, but this was still 2021. About 1 month in since we adopted Scrabbles and Jack, and you can tell already that Scrabbles is a lot healthier and bigger. And this is even later. This is probably this is the spring of 2022. This is between Jack and Chubby. You see how Jack got much bigger, right? Much bigger in less than a year. Chubby always lies like that or sleeps like that. Oh, he just hugs him and kisses him. And that was very common. They did that a lot, almost every day. Those three were so inseparable. Um, so things were happy, at least with the my cats and I and my wife, right? The business situation was kind of up and down. COVID was kind of over by then, 2022. Um, but it was getting up at that time. My coffee shop was doing well 2 years after COVID. I felt confident. We were happier. I think 2022 was probably our happiest year in the last 6 years. And we decided to buy a house in the summer of 2022, right? So we were looking for a house at that time. And to be honest with you, the reason we wanted a house was because of the cats. My wife loved the condo that we lived in. It was spacious. It had 3 bedrooms plus a den, very open, so much light. And it was just a 2-minute walk to our business. So we loved it. But I just felt I wanted more space for my cats. I wanted them to have a yard, at least a backyard, to prance around, run around, play fight. So at that time, we were looking for our house. Also, every one of our cats looked healthy. The only caveat was that there was a couple caveats. The only caveat for Scrabbles was that she ate too well when we first got her. Like, because she was so hungry. She was so hungry, right? She was like, in my mind, she was gonna die in a few days, few weeks, right? And she would overeat. It wasn't that I didn't know she overate. Of course I knew. I was there. I saw her overeat, right? But I don't know. It's just one of those things you let them eat because they're hungry. But looking back, I wish I didn't let her eat that much because her stomach became like a balloon almost. Like she was a tiny little girl and then she has like a balloon stomach, right? And to me, that's not healthy. Eventually, she stopped doing that. Don't get me wrong. Eventually, she stopped eating that much. But then slowly over time, she ate very little. Like very little. At the height of her weight, I think she was 7 pounds, which is not unhealthy. Don't get me wrong. There's 7-pound cats. There's plenty of 7-pound smaller cats, right? So it's not like a 7-pound cat is very unhealthy. If anything, a 7-pound cat is more healthier than a 14-pound cat, right? But I think she lost even more weight the last couple years. I think I'll tell you why even more so later. But I didn't weigh her at the end, but I think she could have been 4 or 5 pounds at most. But overall, she looked healthy, right? Besides not eating too much, she could escape at any situation. Like if Jack chases her, or a stray cat chases her, or any cat chases her, she's able to jump to the link fence and walk like in a tightrope, on a tightrope, right? She would be able to jump on top of a tree way before the other cats. So her smallness and her lack of eating in some ways made her so flexible and have agility. So in some ways it made her, I don't know, healthy is the right word. It was an advantage to her that she was that way. But I'm sure there were consequences of not eating much, right? So anyway, Jack, Scrabbles, Chubby, I would say 2022, 23, in that 1 to 2 year period was the happiest time of their life. They would play with each other. They would run around, play hide and seek, play fight, never a true fight, play fight, kiss, lick, hug to each other, and to me and my wife, but to each other, indoor and outdoor. And they love outdoors. And almost all the time when they're outdoors, they're usually in the front yard or backyard. But yeah, like I said, Chubby and Scrabbles, they're more adventurous. They would go, because I know from the tracker, and it's really fascinating. I see them sometimes 2-3 blocks away from my house, that far. So yeah, happiest time of my cat's life was 2022 and 2023. And let's see if I have some videos of that. Here's a picture of Scrabbles, Chubby, and Jack in front of the house. So it's very cute. Whenever I go out to the front, they come with me. Whenever I go to the back, they go with me. And here is them like 3 little gangsters. Chubby was, by the way, the leader of the pack. He's the oldest, so not surprising. Scrabbles, right behind him. Here is Scrabbles and Jack and Chubby inside my home.
My 3 cats in the morning. Scrabbles. Scrabbles. What? Jack? You're very comfortable. You're very comfortable, Jack. Chubby. How are you, Chubby? Good morning.
All right. So, yeah, 2022, 2023 were the best times for my cats. Um, and then 2024 was an interesting year and a tough year. Well, I didn't build. I had someone come in and build a cat door at my basement door leading to the backyard. So there would be a cat door, I don't know, the size of a 15-inch laptop screen, right? And my cats would go in and out of that cat door to go outside when I don't let them go in and out from the front door, which a lot of times you have to close the door because it's Chicago, right? You got to be safe. And we start noticing that so a lot of the stray cats were trying to alpha male my cats, but there were a couple of stray cats that didn't intimidate my cats. I mean, they intimidated my cats in the sense that my cats were scared of them, right? They were scared of them, but they never show outward hostility toward my cats. And one of them we named Simba. I know, very original, right? He would come in through the cat door to our house and eat my cat's cat food. He was so ballsy. He would just come in, eat, leave. Come in, eat, leave. Sometimes every few days, sometimes every few weeks, sometimes every day. So he's just in between. And I thought it was cute. I thought it was interesting. My cats were scared though, but Simba never harmed my cats, right? And this happened. Like I said, it wasn't consistent. Like he would come sometimes a couple of days in a row, and then sometimes we don't see him for 2 months. But he would do this for like over a year, and then one day he just like stopped coming. He disappeared. So we don't know what happened to Simba. Hopefully he's okay, but we don't know, right? We don't know if he's got adopted or he got hurt. We don't know, or he died. We don't know, right? And then there was another cat, cute little thing, a tiny little baby. I actually saw him in the fall of 2022, a few months after we moved in. After that, there was a cat right outside our house. And I heard my cats like sort of alpha mailing another cat, but trust me, my cats are pussy cats. They never harm any cat or fly. But they were just doing that out of instinct, even though this was a tiny little baby cat. They were like, basically get out of our territory, right? And it was the cutest thing. It was a cute cat, gray, like tiger stripe markings. And it was barely like 2 months old, but it had a collar. And when I told my wife this, I said, "Oh, I feel like I need to bring the cat inside because I feel like the cat's lost, right? We need to find the owner because I feel like it's not normal for a 1-2 months old cat to be outside. It's just not, you know what I mean? It's just too dangerous." So I got the cat in, right? I shoot the cat in basically. I didn't really grab him. He ran in toward my house, but he was super scared. and he hid under my sofa like all night. Oh, before he did that, I'm sorry. Before he did that, I was able to get a hold of him inside the house, cut off the collar because I want to see if there was any phone number, any address in there, and there was none. It was just a regular collar, but no information. And I wanted to cut off the collar too because just in case he did get lost and he survives as a stray cat, he won't choke himself to death, right? Because he was a baby cat and it was kind of tight. Anyway, I told my wife that if he doesn't stay in the house by the next day, I'll let him go. I don't know if it was the right decision to make, to be honest with you. Looking back, it was probably the wrong decision. I should have kept him. And the reason I say that because when I let him go, we saw him outside, front yard, backyard, side yard, whatever, side gangway, whatever, off and on for the next year, 2 years. So sometimes we see him every couple weeks, and then sometimes we won't see him for 6 months. But he definitely wasn't someone's cat. He was a stray cat. He became a stray cat. I'm sorry. He became a stray cat. So OG. I named him OG because I saw him enough that I wanted to name him. And I call him the original gangster. So OG. And OG did the same thing as Simba. Just like Simba, OG started coming to the house through the cat door to eat my 3 cats' cat food. Right? And he did that. He would do the same thing, and just like OG, he would come either often or not often, but eventually it became very common. And eventually he started like hanging out in the basement. He started hanging out upstairs. And we wanted to be, I don't know, we want to be good, right? We want to be good. We wanted any stray cat that come into our lives, if they're looking for food, we want to give them food. Because we assume that the life is tough out there, right? Out in the cold, out in the heat, looking for food constantly. And we just thought it was the right thing to do, to feed the stray cats when they come to our house. We didn't purposely feed any stray cat, right? We didn't go give food to stray cats out in the alley. We didn't do that. But if they came into our house or our backyard, we would feed them. And we thought that was the right thing to do. Well, this was happening in 2024 when the stray cats started coming in. Chubby passed away in the summer of 2024. I know this seems sudden, but I want to talk about Chubby in a different video in the near future. But yeah, Chubby at that time passed away in 2024. He was diagnosed with congestive heart failure in 2022. And those moments were very rough for me and my wife. I'll talk more about that in the next videos. And the dynamics of my 2 cats change, unfortunately, for the worse. So before Chubby died, my 3 cats were inseparable. They play all the time. Like I said, they groom each other. They play fight. They lick each other. They hug each other. They kiss each other. Once Chubby died, Jack and Scrabble's relationship changed. I don't know why, but Jack starts bullying Scrabbles. And he would chase her a lot. Like, he wouldn't really hurt Scrabbles. I don't think Jack would ever hurt Scrabbles. But he would just kind of bully her like a big brother. Where in the past, when Chubby was alive, he never did that. And Scrabbles became even more outdoorsy. Like, she loved outdoors, but became even more outdoorsy. I think part of it was Jack bullying her, and part of it was Simba, the stray cat, coming in. I know Simba eventually did not come in anymore, and eventually OG coming in, right? Like, she was very scared of OG and Simba. But like I said, Simba stopped coming. She was very scared of OG. Scrabbles was a tiny little girl. Unlike Jack, who grew to be 14 pounds or more, Scrabbles at her height was 7 pounds, and probably at the end was near 4 or 5 pounds. Very light. When I held her, she was very light. But like I said, in some ways, it was to her advantage. She was able to escape Jack when Jack bullied her, or OG, or any other cats, right? She would escape any of them because she was better than any of them climbing, going under fences where the other cats were too heavy, too big. And she was just very nimble and flexible. So it was to her advantage she was that small. But she was out a lot. And in 2025, OG came to our house a lot. Like I said, almost becoming like our cat. This is OG. He's a cute cat. When we found him, he was only a couple months old. He was so cute. He is probably close to 4 years old now. There's another video of him here. So he was domesticated, then became a stray for 3+ years, and now he's domesticated again. He gets into a lot of trouble though. Not lately, but about, I don't know, 8 months ago, 10 months ago, he used to get into cat fights all the time, being a stray, not neutered. He had injuries almost like every other month. But we neuter him, and he's much more tamer now. A and I were very excited about OG. Even though we were very worried about all the cats, especially Jack and Scrabbles, because Jack was, being male, he was hysterical about OG. He was alpha mailing, doing alpha male cries on OG, basically telling him get the heck out. And OG did not reciprocate. Now, if OG reciprocated and did alpha male Jack or Scrabbles, I would, not that I would stop feeding OG, but I would kind of push him out of the house, right? I would be like, okay, I'm sorry, OG. I'll feed you outside the house, but when you come in, I'm just gonna have to ask you to leave. You know what I mean? I have to take you out, right? But OG never did that. OG never really like alpha male Jack or Scrabbles. I think he kind of knew his place, right? He knew his place. He knew this was not his territory, but he's hungry. So he knew he should not hurt Jack. He knew he should not hurt Scrabbles. So he didn't fight them. He didn't chase after them. He didn't do alpha mailing them. It was Jack that was doing it. Anyway, one day Jack chased OG out. And they got into a fight. So Jack caught up to OG and they got into a fight. My instinct was like, I need to break up this fight. So I ran down the basement. And I broke up the fight with my physical hands. And lo and behold, Jack's not happy that I break up the fight. And instinctively bit on my hand. I don't know if you can see it. It's right here. Oh. Right there, you see that? Super deep. super deep bite. And this is how I am. Throughout my whole life, when I was a kid, to me as a middle-aged man or adult, if I have a big injury, I just let it go. And I did that. It was bleeding like crazy, but I stopped it eventually, but it got infected. My hand became the size of like grapefruit or something. It was huge. I got super infected. So a day after I got bit, I went to the hospital. I went to the ER and gave me tons of antibiotics, and that calmed my infection down. And I was dismissed from the hospital the day after, and so I stayed overnight, and I was okay. So but because I never kicked OG out of the house, and because he kept coming into the house, eventually my cats sort of got used to him, especially Jack. So Jack's hysterical level of don't you dare come into the house went from 10 to 9 to 8 to 7 to 6 to 5. And then eventually it was just kind of like hey, hey, what are you doing? You know, like, kind of like barely making a sound. Okay, you're here. Fine, go ahead, go eat. That was Jack. Eventually, he just stopped alpha mailing OG. And if anything, Jack wanted to be friends with OG. So for a period, there was a really weird relationship with Jack and OG, where, like I said, he was hysterical. He wanted to alpha male him. Jack was scared of OG, but at the same time, he was like ready to defend his territory, but he was scared. Then it became more like, oh, I want to be friends with OG. I want to kiss him. I want to groom him. I want to lick him. And his instinct was that he wanted to be his friend. He does that, and because OG was still a stray cat at heart, OG didn't attack Jack, but he would be kind of defensive, right? He would make a sound. He would make a defensive sound. And then Jack would be really scared and run away. So it was kind of a weird relationship where it was like love and hate for a while. Where now it's just love. Jack loves OG. Scrabbles was different. Scrabbles was kind of getting used to OG a little bit, where when OG came to the house, she would team up with my other cats to kind of like alpha male him. But then over time, realizing OG's kind of a badass, right? He's not leaving. She would just hide. So anytime OG comes, she would just leave the room to go to another room, another corner to hide. But then eventually she kind of got used to him too a little bit. Like, she would not be near him, but she would be like, okay, I'm going to jump at the top of the cat tree, but I'm going to stay in the same room. I'm going to watch him. So a part of me felt like things will be okay. Everyone will be happy. Everyone will get along. Especially Jack and OG, right? Jack and OG were like enemy number one. OG was enemy number one to Jack. And then over, a year period, from enemy number one to you're my best friend. Now that Chubby's gone, right? You're my new best friend. So when I saw that relationship with Jack and OG, I thought with Scrabbles, there's hope, right? And there was a little hope. Like I said, Scrabbles kind of stopped running away. I mean, sometimes she still did that, but more times than not, she's like, okay, I don't need to run away. I can stay in the same room, kind of like thing. So I felt there was hope for Scrabbles and OG. But yeah, OG started being a little bit ballsy though. He started becoming a domesticated cat. He started not becoming a stray cat. And he started hanging out at the house, right? He starts mailing at me and demanding food from me, right? And I think because he felt like he is part of our household now, like he's part of the family. OG feels like he's part of the family. Because he felt like that some time ago, I think he felt he could bully Scrabbles now, if that kind of makes sense, where before he would never bully Scrabbles. He was afraid to bully Scrabbles. But then he sees Jack bullying Scrabbles, and he's kind of like, okay, there's a female cat, much smaller than me, 1/3 my weight. She shows hostility toward me. Well, Scrabble is showing hostility towards OG because she's scared. She's scared of OG, right? It's not because Scrabbles wants to attack OG. Of course not. She's a tiny little thing. But she's just kind of like, in her mind, she's defending herself. But in OG's mind, he's a cat, right? Especially a former stray cat. He's like, oh, you're going to show hostility toward me. I'm going to show it back. So there were a couple moments where OG, I don't know if I want to say he fought Scrabbles, but technically they did, I guess. Like, there was contact, right? For lack of better words. And I would have to break it up. It happened like 2 times. At most 2-3 times. So it wasn't often. It wasn't often. It was, and I was able to break it up quick. And no one was really hurt. Some furs on the floor. And almost all the time when I come home from work, for my business, I don't see any evidence of fighting. Like, I don't see any evidence of like tons of fur hair, right? On the floor. So part of me felt like over time, all my 3 cats were going to be friends. It's going to be a one big family, and everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. About 10 days ago, yes, about 10 days ago, 2 Saturdays ago, I don't know what I was doing, to be honest with you. Surfing the web, watching YouTube. It wasn't important. All my 3 cats were outside. I didn't want Scrabbles to be outside because, like I said, Scrabbles wasn't there yet. She wasn't there like Jack, right? Jack was there. He is friends with OG already. He bonded with OG. From enemy number 1 to best friends. He bonded with OG. So I was still worried about Scrabbles a little bit. And because she was a little thing. And I didn't want her to be out. I didn't mind her to be out eventually, but for time being, I'm like, you know what? Scrabbles, you were out all day. I want you to be in at least for a few hours. So I closed the door to the basement. So she couldn't get out. I want to make sure she didn't go out. But there's a closet door that sometimes I open for Jack, because Jack's crazy sometimes like that. When we first moved into the house, there's a closet door next to the washroom. And he was the only cat, because he was kind of too fat, too big. He was the only cat that couldn't sneak in to the basement from that closet door, because that closet door, there was like a gap, I guess, from the floor to whatever. There was a gap, and he wasn't able to sneak in, or he was afraid to sneak in. And Chubby and Scrabbles were able to sneak in, especially Scrabbles. She used that place to sneak down all the time. So, Jack would always come up to me and like, open the door, Papa, right? Like, he would say that to me, right? And I'm like, okay, fine, I open the door for you. And I forgot to close the damn door because I didn't want Scrabbles to go to the outside. I didn't want her to go outside, at least for that night or at least that few hours. I didn't want her to go outside. But I just forgot that I opened the door. So I closed the basement door, but I forgot that door. And as I was, I don't know, watching YouTube, whatever, and I was thinking about Scrabbles. I knew Jack was outside. I knew OG was outside, but I didn't want Scrabbles to be outside. And I said to myself, where's Scrabbles? I haven't seen her for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Let me check on her. And I checked the entire house. I didn't see her, but I realized the closet door was open. I'm like, oh, shit. I think she left. I think she's outside, right? So I closed the closet door, but she was outside. I know she's outside. There was no reason for her to hide inside the house because OG's not inside the house. So she's outside. All my three cats are outside. I go back to the living room. Excuse me. And then maybe an hour in that Scrabble has been outside, I hear a cat. I don't know what the term is when a cat does this. They hump their body, right? They're doing alpha male. They're basically their two cats are facing each other. and at least one of the cat or both the cats would be like, right? Like that, right? Like you see that all the time in social media. And if you have a cat, you know what I mean. And I knew that was OG. When I heard that, I knew that was OG. I didn't hear two cats doing that. I just heard one cat doing that alpha male stance. Battle ready stance, right? And I knew that was OG. And I'm like, okay, that's not good. I don't want OG to get into a fight with a stray cat. Because I thought it was a stray cat that he was doing this to. Because there was a orange stray cat that has been coming to our house or by our house, not inside the house, but by our house the last few weeks, right? And OG would be doing that to that cat. Kind of like, hey, stray cat, this is our territory now. Like, I'm a domesticated cat, but it's my territory now. Leave. And I saw OG doing that, and I broke it up a couple times when I saw him doing that. Not that OG was going to fight the cat. I think he was still just alpha mailing the cat, but... So in my mind, when I heard 2 Saturdays ago that OG was doing like this, I thought it was that orange cat. I went outside to the front yard to check it out, but I didn't see any cat. I didn't see OG. I didn't see the orange cat. I didn't see Jack. I didn't see Scrabbles. But of course, it came from somewhere, right? So I'm like, okay, it must have come from either the backyard or the gangway near the backyard. But I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't investigate it fully. I mean, I kind of know why. At that moment, for whatever reason, I didn't think it was an important decision to fully investigate it. I did investigate it. I want to make sure everything's okay. But because I thought it was OG doing that to that stray cat, I'm just like, oh, it's just OG being a former stray cat, acting like a stray cat, if that makes sense. I like, he's okay, right? He's going to be okay. He's a strong cat. He's going to be okay. That cat's probably going to be okay. If something gets out of hand, I would rush out and stop it. Something like that came into my mind. So I went back. So I went back to my living room, did my stupid thing, whatever it was that was not important. And literally 2 minutes later, roughly 2 minutes later, I heard a primal scream from a cat. Primal scream. Meaning, if you can ever imagine a cat screaming as loud as he or she could, that's what you would hear. Same thing, there's another story to this. I heard a primal scream from a woman before, from a crime that I witnessed. But that's a different story, right? So it was a primal scream from a cat. And instinctively, I knew that was Scrabbles. I know my cat's sound. Like, just like I knew it was OG doing this, that primal scream was from Scrabbles. And immediately, I rose up and screamed, "Stop it! Stop it!" And I went outside. At first, I didn't see anyone. I didn't see any cat. But then I see OG coming from the gangway, from the backyard, the gangway's between two houses, right? Then I see him from the gangway coming toward the front. Then I see Jack too. I mean, I don't want to think the worst, of course, but I'm like, okay, I need to see where Scrabble's at. And it was dark. And normally it's not dark. Normally my backyard, it has a light on all the time for security reasons. And for whatever reason, it was turned off that day. I didn't turn it off, but for whatever reason, it was turned off that day. So it was really dark. But I'm pretty sure the cats, they have good vision. They know who each other are. But for a human, it was pretty dark, right? And the reason this is important, because when I was looking for Scrabbles earlier, I went to the back kitchen where there's a window that looks out the backyard. And if there was light, I probably would have seen Scrabbles somewhere there. Or OG, or Jack, right? I probably would have seen them. But I couldn't see anything because it was really dark. So I had the flashlight on of my iPhone, and I'm just pointing to the ground. And I'm walking toward the backyard all the way to the small staircase patio. And I see Scrabbles on the floor right below the patio or the staircase. And I knew from the looks of her, she died. Just 2 minutes earlier. Her eyes were open, but it was blank. Her mouth was a little bit open. There was no blood. There was no fur. I called for her and I said no, just like I did to Chubby. I said no, no. I touched her, shook her a little bit. Nothing. Everything seems like in a rush. So I went to my house, told my wife, I think Scrabbles is dead. You need to stop talking on the phone. Come out. So we went back out. Scrabble's still lying there. And I don't want to believe what's happening, but it's happening. So I don't know. I don't really know CPR, to be honest with you. I hate to say this, but I try to do a version of it. I kind of press her chest. Nothing. I didn't feel a heartbeat. But yeah, you doubt yourself. Is there a heartbeat? You just can't hear it or feel it. But I held her so many times before, so many times that I could feel her heartbeat. And this time I couldn't. I couldn't feel her heartbeat. And then I took her from that area to the grass area, just to see, I don't know if she'll wake up, right? Just to hope, for all hopes that she would wake up somehow. And she doesn't. So I started saying my last words to her.
My Scrabbles, my beautiful darling girl, You have been with us for 5 years, almost since the day you were born. We got you when you were a tiny little baby, barely 1 or 2 months old, scrawny. Looks like you were not gonna make it for a few more weeks. You've been an amazing addition to our family. We love you so much, and you love us back. It's been a wonderful, wonderful 5 years. We are so sorry you have to go at such a young age. We will never know what happened to you, but looks like it was an accident. We love you so much. I will miss you coming up to me, caressing me, kissing me, giving me so much love. I will miss you so much. Baby girl, I love you, okay? I hope you're happy and wonderful in your new life. Bye-bye.
We decided to bury her that night. And the next day, planted flowers where she laid. I'm recovering right now, and you could say this video that I'm making is part of the recovery process. The first night, the first few nights, the first few days, the first week, I don't think I felt this sad since my father died almost 3 years ago, and since Chubby died 2 years ago, right? Or when Chubby was missing for 13 days. I was devastated. But when Chubby died, even though I was super sad, cried for days and weeks, and I probably didn't recover until a year later, because every time I come home, I would look at the spot where Chubby died. Or I would look through the fence of my backyard to see if Chubby would greet me like he always does. And I kind of stopped thinking about that only like a year after he died. But when Chubby died, I didn't have guilt, because he was supposed to die. Chubby was supposed to die, right? He has a heart condition, and he was supposed to have 3 months to live, and he lived for 2 years. Nonetheless, he was supposed to die. So I didn't have any guilt. My guilt when he was missing for 13 days was erased because he came back, right? Or I found him. But with Scrabbles, I felt I killed her. I feel I kill her because number one, why didn't I fucking fully investigate the commotion when OG was doing his alpha male stance? Why didn't I fully investigate it? All I had to fucking do was walk another 20 feet or even 10 feet if I see them, right? Just walk 10, 20 more feet and I would see my cats. And I would be like, what's going on? Let me walk even further. And then I would see Scrabbles. And then I would shoo OG away. Because the moment I heard OG do his thing, which is alpha male Scrabbles, to the moment Scrabbles had her primal scream, which she died right after that, was 2 minutes. And I just need 10 extra seconds from the moment I check the front yard to the backyard. And I didn't do that. So I felt responsible for her death. Now, I know people are trying to make me feel better, and they're like, well, first of all, at first, me and my wife thought she died because she fell. Like, she was on the ledge of the stair, right? And she fell 7 feet, and she hit her head. It's possible, don't get me wrong, she fell and hit her head and had internal injury. It's possible, but I feel like that's more of like human thinking of what happened. Like, oh, a person fell, hit his head or her head, and then, you know, stumble toward this area and then collapses, right? I saw my doctor, like my heart doctor, a couple days after my Scrabbles died, and I know he's not a vet, but he's like, I think she died of a cardiac arrest, like a heart attack, right? And when he said that, everything made sense. Everything made sense that she died of a heart attack or cardiac arrest, and because she was there under the stair, under the patio, under the staircase, right? She was there. It's not like she fell, hit her head, and she had to walk there. She was there. And her positioning, you can tell she was facing toward the gangway where another cat would be. And that's where OG would be. And I just imagining like Scrabbles was so scared of OG. OG found her. Scrabble was probably resting under there, like just resting. Then OG finds her. And because Scrabbles is scared of OG, she defends herself by showing bravery. You know, hissing at him, possibly, whatever, right? Showing bravery. And OG, being a cat, being a former stray cat, is like, you're showing me your hostility, I'm going to show you mine, which he did his alpha male cry or stance, right? And that just made Scrabble so much more scared. Like, so much more scared. Like, she's already frightened of OG as it is without that crazy. So she must have been petrified. And then she lets out the primal of all primal screams you can imagine from a tiny little cat that I heard clearly and loudly, that I've never heard that loud before from any cat. And I think she just gave her last energy that she had. And she died. And it also makes sense because even though it was her advantage to be small, to not eat much, so she can go under the fence, go up the tree, it also made her weak, right? Because she didn't eat much, she didn't drink much. It made her weak. It made her heart weak. And I feel so responsible for it. And that as a father of my baby girl, I couldn't protect her. I'm the one that's supposed to protect her, and I couldn't protect her, right? Like, fuck me. Like, fuck me. And I haven't been able to live myself since then. Sorry. And I couldn't protect her because I let OG in. I let OG into her life. Right? I didn't need to let OG in. OG survived as a stray for 4 years. I didn't need to feed him. He still would have survived. I didn't need to welcome OG home. I didn't need to play with him, caress him, treat him like my own cat. Because at all this time, when I did that, when I welcomed OG, Scrabbles was petrified of OG. She was petrified. So petrified that one day, when OG threatened her with that stance, she died of a heart attack. So scared, she died of a heart attack. She was scared to death. And I let that happen. I let that happen because I welcomed OG home, even though Scrabbles was petrified of him. And I let that happen because I didn't fully investigate what was happening when I could have. And I hate myself for that. But it's done, right? What can I do? So I want to make this video because, I don't know, I feel like this is part of my grieving process, as you can see. And I just want to remember Scrabbles, of how she is, of how she was. She was this super innocent, super precious, super fragile girl. All she wanted was to be outside and to be loved by me and my wife. That's it. That's it. She was a very innocent girl, and now she's gone. And I will miss her dearly. I love her so much. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for listening. I might have other stories to tell you in the future that may help me, I don't know, help myself, I guess, in my sort of my own therapy. But right now I leave you with a final images of Scrabbles.